Me got baby face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water make Gulf US obey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Me got baby face, me got big cheer. Trump bad, Trump good, me no care. Me write big book, kill billies and stuff. Now me import and wear tie up tough. Me go Yale school, me learn big word. Now me forget everything me heard. Silicon people give me job, me take. Now me like Trump, me make no mistake. Yo, it's JD Advance. Me fight, walk, folk, me say never die. Me protect kids, me born liberal. Him, them, there. America simple, only two gender. Me face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water make Gulf US obey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Too many gender for my agenda. Went on a bender, execo the sender. Might take Panama just like na. Might take Gaza, pop then a plaza. Vance, with this one majesty.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Wednesday. Lots going on, lots to discuss. I didn't do a CobraCast yesterday. Everybody was mad at me, freaking out. But we did have a very good Tuesday night's main event over on the main Geeks and Gamers channel. But I have a very important question for all of you. How was your weekend? Everybody have a good weekend? Everybody have a good weekend watching the Masters? Maybe you watched NASCAR. No, nobody watched NASCAR. The ratings were terrible for Bristol. But yeah, so hope everybody had a good weekend. Good to see all of you here on another wonderful educational episode of CobraCast 199. We know you abandoned us. No, I would never do that. I would never, ever do that. But we do have Mar Millen with a $10 and says a pre-stream chat grift tax. He never misses. He's the new ABF. Mar Millen never misses. He's the new ABF. Now, we still love ABF, but Mar Millen never misses. Never. Let's see. Fran Forsyth says, how was your weekend, tax? It was pretty damn good. Hi, Jared. My weekend was pretty good, says the Mass Marvel. Yeah, so of course that whole story is not going away anytime soon. It's just getting worse and worse. So I am watching all the videos and seeing the reactions to it. And man, he's his own worst enemy at this point in time. So what can you do except just watch this train wreck unfold right before our very eyes? Simple as that. So let me see here. Lady Erin D's in the house. Real Donnie Danko, Makara, Jessica in the house. I'm sure Eric K and Cam Man are running around somewhere. There's Keenan. Zwanny is here. Aberjam, cheese tax for the doggo. Thank you, Aberjam. Jonas Blue in the house. Mark Andre Roy is here. Big Beardo fan. He's a big Beardo fan. McDaniel, Ladybug, H3 and Asmund will soon cover the quartering. So Asmund Gold talked about it yesterday. We talked about this on Geeks and Gamers. And H3 is talking about it as well. It's a weird day when you have to say the words that I'm about to say. We have reached a weird timeline when I have to say the words that Matt Jarbo was right. Do you understand how ridiculous that statement is? When I have to say the words Matt Jarbo was right about something, that is the craziest timeline ever. But He was right about something, and that was the quartering situation. He was. It's so weird to say. It's very much a singular position, though, because he's not right about anything else, but he's right about that. So we got to give credit where credit's due. So I will. A classic NASCAR from the 90s is better, Tax. There's not even a competition, man. NASCAR in the 90s and in the 2000s, so much better than this garbage that we have now. DB says, whoa, buddy. BC Man says, and I'm here to hail. What's up, Beastie Man? Hail to you, brother. Good to see you. Hope you had a good weekend. I hope everybody had a good weekend because we have a lot to catch up on in the world of politics and pop culture and whatever else is going on. Something interesting happened the other day, and that was and it's kind of gone crazy on the internet, this story, but Erika Kirk was scheduled to be in an appearance last night with JD Vance, and she had to cancel her appearance due to threats, serious threats, apparently. Now, this has opened up the floodgates for a lot of questions, and people are like, wait a minute. If she was facing threats and she couldn't go to the event, how was the vice president of the United States able to go to the event? Now, I feel like we're asking the wrong questions, but obviously we know where the source of these questions is, and that would be Candace Owens. So Candace Owens responds as soon as Erika Kirk cancels and says Erika Kirk pulled out of her event last minute with the Vice President Vance, citing threats. This is PR horseshit, obviously. He is now doing the event alone at the University of Georgia. What do we think the real reason she pulled out? So I have to say, man, I'm not the biggest fan of Erika Kirk, but her treatment has just been probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. Whatever you think of her, whatever you think of Turning Point, her husband was murdered in front of the world. In front of the world. And she's getting this type of treatment. It's crazy, dude. It really is disgusting. Now, we'll continue to talk about that disgusting situation. But first, Zwanny drops a proper 199. Make Mark blue. Holy crap. Make Marc-Andre Roy blue. Damn. You put me in a tough spot, Zwanny. It's very tough to have people send you money to press a button. It's a tough life I live. It's a very tough life I live. I mean, who else has to deal with this type of stuff? Like, I literally have a young lady sending me $200 to press a button to give Marc-Andre Roy a wrench. This is a terrible, terrible life I'm living. How do I deal with this stressful life that I have? How do I do this? Please pray for me. Zwanny owns this show pretty much. See there, Mark's not even in the fucking chat. He's not even in the chat. Where's he at? How am I supposed to make this guy a mod? He's not even in the chat. We will go back to this story. Maybe Mark will show up one of these days. What a lame duck. What a lame duck. Damn it, he showed up. Fuck. I was hoping he just wasn't here so I could make fun of him. Damn it, he showed up. All right, we're going to continue this story. We'll go back to that. All right, but Erika Kirk. The treatment of Erika Kirk has been one of the worst things I have ever seen. And it does make me sad. And I say that again as someone that's not a big fan of hers. But JD Vance actually did address this last night. And we're going to play the clips because, listen, I don't know, like on the surface, on the surface, you can look at it and go, well, if the vice president is there, why can't she be there? I understand that question. But we don't know the details, and this is this TikTok world that we live in where everybody thinks that they have all of the answers to everything. Do we know that these threats were directly related to the event itself? Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I don't know. But I haven't heard anybody clarify that. I haven't heard anybody talk about were the threats back in her local area. Does she not want to leave her kids who don't have a father anymore when she's dealing with potential threats? We don't know the answers to these questions. You know what I mean? So here's what they said last night.
So for those of you wondering why I don't have really flowing, long, blonde hair right now, so I'm going to address it right at the front. Mr. Vice President, I'm on stage here instead of our friend Erika Kirk.
That's right.
Because unfortunately, she has received some very serious threats in her direction, which is terrible. It's a terrible reflection on the state of reality and the state of the country. But it underscores a larger point that she has received a lot of attacks from surprising places, perhaps. Tell us what you think about that. Some of the people that have made, part-time jobs out of attacking Erika, and this is the net result.
Sure. Well, first of all, I love Erika, and I know that she did get some threats. And, about 2 hours ago, as you know, Andrew, I was a little worried that we were going to have to cancel the event because Erika was not going to come, and she was very worried about it. And I talked to the Secret Service, and obviously these guys do a very good job. And I said, you know what? Let's let Erika do what she needs to do for herself and her family. I'm sure Andrew will fill in. And let's go and make this an amazing event with the Georgia Bulldogs in Athens, Georgia. So absolutely, we're going to do this thing.
And now, if you listen to that, and then we have another comment right here from JD, but based on that information right there, we don't know if the threats were directly related to the event. Were they related to her traveling? We don't know. So the fact that people are just making this up about like, well, if it's a PR thing and all that, it's crazy, dude. It's absolutely crazy that we have ended up in this situation with this poor woman.
But so Erika's struggling with this, and of course that's terrible, unspeakable. Most of us cannot even put ourselves in her shoes, while at the same time, she's trying to make sure that Charlie's legacy doesn't die. And in that context, everybody is attacking her over everything, and they're lying about her. And it's one of the most disgraceful things that I've ever seen in public life. And I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in my life as a political leader. And I will tell you that the people who tell you, I was there with her, I was holding her hand, my wife was hugging her while we loaded Charlie's body onto Air Force Two and said the Lord's Prayer. The people telling you that Erika wasn't grieving her husband are full of shit. And we need to be honest about that fact.
Let's go, JD.
Excuse my language. My wife says I got to work on my language. She's been telling me that for 12 years, and it still hasn't taken. But the thing is, look, when you become a public figure, the natural thing, and I've talked to Erika about this privately, is a ton of crazy people say a ton of things about you that simply aren't true. But the thing that makes it so egregious with Erika is that she's a grieving person who's trying to carry on her husband's legacy. And look, we all do things that are wrong. If you want to, criticize Turning Point USA for not taking this position or having this political disagreement, or maybe it should do this or that, that's all above board. But to say that Erika Kirk wasn't grieving her husband on that day, to say that Erika Kirk was somehow complicit in it, is so preposterous and so disgusting. And it's one of the things that has broken, I think, the American public conversation of the last 6 months. I mean, Andrew, we could talk about this for a long time. Charlie's absence, I felt it so many times in so many different ways. There have been so many times where I wanted to call Charlie and say, man, you've got to call this person, or man.
And look, this is really coming from one person in particular that's pushing this. And you have a lot of brain dead people that are just repeating the talking points. That's truly what it's about. You have a lot of brain dead people that are listening to every word that Candace Owens is saying and repeating it. And Candace, to her credit, Candace knows that the people that are repeating her talking points are very stupid, and she leans right into their stupidity. Credit where credit's due to her.
You've got to put this event together so we can help this candidate, or just to bounce ideas off of as a friend. There have been so many ways in which I felt that void, but one of the ways in which I felt that void is that it's like the response to Charlie Kirk dying. The response to Charlie Kirk getting assassinated by a left-wing furry lover is the response should have been, let's go after left-wing violence and terrorism. Let's defund the networks of left-wing violence and terrorism. That's what we've been doing in Washington, D.C., and that's what we've been fighting for every single day. You know, Savannah Hernandez, of course, was assaulted in Minnesota a couple days ago. I talked to Cash Patel on the way down here, and I said, I assume that we're doing something here. And he said, yes, we've had multiple agents on the ground. We've already talked to Savannah. We're going to use the video to try to go after the people who assaulted her and then try to defund the networks that fund those radicals who are going around assaulting activists. That's what we should be doing.
I know the audio's not that great, so.
And I know that politics is hard, and I know that it's challenging, and I know that things aren't always easy, and we're going to have disagreements even within our coalition. But if you're going after Erika Kirk and not the people who are trying to destroy the United States of America, you're part of the problem, not part of the solution.
Yeah, amen.
So, yeah, so this is kind of, the news right now about her canceling. We don't know all the details. We don't know the specifics. But I would agree that on the surface, you probably would ask the question of like, well, why wouldn't she just show up? But there's a lot more to it than just that. And you either have to be smart enough to understand that or retarded enough to believe all the nonsense that's out there. We live in a headline world where people just read the headline and they don't do any more research because the headline basically reinforces whatever they believe. So there's no need to look into it any further than that. They see the headline, done. That's it. Okay, well, that headline tells me what I want to believe. So therefore, I shouldn't look into anything else at all. So there you go. Simple as that. Let's see. 207 Pager says that's you. Well, if that was the case, I just believe Donald Trump was a warmonger and a racist and a sexist and Hitler, because that's what every headline says. So your point just got destroyed right there. Now the media has tried to make me believe that Donald Trump is evil. And social media losers out there trying to pressure me to denounce Donald Trump, to not be a Trump supporter. But your nonsense doesn't work on me, unfortunately. But you can keep crying in my comments because I think your tears belong in my chat. I absolutely believe that. We got Maga Mike says, seen a comment on Twitter that said they hope Erika has the same thing happen to her as her husband. It's just god awful what they're doing. It really is, man. I saw that same comment. It was from a woman, if I'm not mistaken. I saw her getting ratioed. So crazy stuff. Legalize adulthood for 1990, says Dave Rubin texted me. He says he never pulls out. Oh, no. I did not, under any circumstance, need that mental image at all. Okay? At all. Damn, legalize adulthood. Usually that one is with a proper 199, and that would have been a little bit easier to deal with. But that's okay. Holy hell, that was bad. Marmellin pretends says, why would a journalist lie, Jeremy? Come on now. We all know people on the internet only speak the gospel truth. The gospel truth from the internet. That's how it always goes. Legalized adulthood says my Israeli Mossad operation is not tax deductible. Hell to you, brother. Green Sage says, whoa, buddy. Another creator felt it on a Kino lolcow list. We got Razor Fist with his grooming, Nick with his wife swap, now quartering with his wife swap. Suffer all lol cows. Thank you, Green Sage. Appreciate it. But Fran Forsythe, how was your weekend? Hit Gary Daly for 5 says, Kata Stream got nixed last night for harassment and cyberbullying. Noticed the pattern emerging with small creators. Did that happen? I didn't even hear about that. Was this like, why didn't he mention that on Main Event? I'll look into that. Darth Manic for 50 says, I agree with basically 99% of what you say, but I come here so you can make me cry like all the past women in your life. I always leave disappointed and dry. But the good thing is I leave satisfied. So it's okay. That's how it works. And as a man, you're much happier in life if you focus on you being happy and not the women. Because if you focus on the women being happy, trust me, you'll be miserable. Okay. It's a never ending cycle. Because the first time you ask the woman, hey, what's wrong? Can I fix it? You fix it. Guess what? 10 minutes later, there's another fucking problem. Okay. You fix that. 10 minutes later, there's another fucking problem. You fix that. And it's just how the fucking cycle goes. Okay. How the cycle goes. Welcome to marriage. So even the women in the chat will admit that. Okay. Even the women will. All right. This is Swanee said it. Truth. All right. Thank you, Darth Manic. I appreciate it, man. Dermy Wormy says, I am here and crushing it. Thanks, Jer. Keep up the good work, Dermy Wormy. Vlad the Man says, Hero, why do you keep saying you're not the biggest fan of Erika Kirk as she's done something negative? Anyways, yeah, buddy. I just don't know about Erika. Like, I can't get a read on Erika one way or the other. I can't tell you that I buy into her if she's a genuine person, but I also not convinced she's evil either. So I just can't get a read on Erika Kirk. And maybe that's not anything bad. I mean, the woman, I didn't really know anything about the woman until, Charlie was assassinated. And then we start learning more about her. So my introduction to her was her being a grieving widow. So it's not really, it's not fair, to judge her from that perspective, but all I can just be is honest. And I know a lot of people are just jumping on the bandwagon one way or the other. So like a lot of people are just going to be, well, we have to support Erika because she's Charlie's widow and we love Charlie and we appreciate her. And other people are going like, we hate Erika because she's evil and she was, paid by Mossad to have her husband murdered. Like I can't be one extreme or the other. I'm just looking at it going, I really don't know. I really don't know. Darth Manic says, quote, it's about me, not them. Says me for many years. Respect. Okay, next up on today's agenda, Trump did an interview with Maria Bartiromo. I think that's how you say her name. We're going to watch this interview right here with Fox News. Here we go.
The hot topic of the hour, a lot of breaking news from President Trump. He told me the blockade of Iranian ports is now fully implemented. He told me the conflict is close to being over. I sat down with the commander-in-chief for an exclusive interview at the White House yesterday, where he told me all about that, plus the current state of the economy, his expectations for the price of oil, and the reconciliation. Oh,
absolutely, Tree Bear. Absolutely. I don't care if she's like 70. Like, yeah, absolutely, Tree Bear. Absolutely.
Package to come. Take a look. Mr. President, thank you for sitting down with us. We appreciate it. You've had a real reaction to the blockade. Are you happy with the reaction since you put this blockade in place in the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, it's been pretty amazing, actually. I thought that was going to happen. They reacted to this even, I think, we've obliterated them. And this almost seems to be more of a reaction than we had before. So we'll see. I mean, look, it only matters the end result. And we're doing very well. We started off with Venezuela. We showed everybody how good. I rebuilt and built the military in my first term. I didn't know I was going to be using it this much. But we have the greatest military in the world, not even a contest. And think of it. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. Everything's been wiped out. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. They have no radar. They have no leaders. The leaders they have now, it's a new regime, okay? And we find them pretty reasonable, to be honest with you. By comparison,
It is funny that Trump's been saying this for like a month now. It feels like he's like, they have no Navy, they have no leaders, they have no military, they have nothing. They're done. They're destroyed. We won. But like we just keep saying it, you know.
pretty reasonable. It really is a new regime. And I think we're doing very well, but it only matters what the end result is, and maybe it'll happen fairly soon. Who knows?
And you told me on Sunday that you think they will ultimately consent and say they're not going to continue building a nuclear weapon. How will you verify?
Well, first of all, if they don't, we're not making a deal. Okay, so there's no deal. This whole thing is really about no nuclear. They cannot have a nuclear weapon, and if they're going to have a nuclear weapon, we'll be living with them for a little while. But I don't know how much longer they can survive. I don't know how much longer they can go because they've been hit very hard. And as an example, we could take out every one of their bridges in 1 hour. We could take out every one of their power plants, electric power plants, in 1 hour. We don't want to do that because someday you're going to have to rebuild, and it takes you 10 years to rebuild the bridge. Even if you're Trump, it takes a long time, and power plants are just as bad. So we'll see what happens.
Did you get any pushback, like from the Chinese or the Saudis, about blocking the Strait of Hormuz?
No, I had none.
Let me move on to domestic issues, sir. What are your top priorities now for the economy for the rest of the year?
To be honest, we are doing so well. You look at this. I hit the 50,000 Dow mark, which everyone said couldn't happen in 4 years. I did it in 1 year. I hit the 7,000 S&P mark in less than 1 year, which was a number, as you know, you reported it. They said if at the end of 4 years you hit those numbers, I did it at the end of a year. And I said, now we have to do a little bit of a turn, a detour to a place called Iran, and we have to stop them from ever having a nuclear weapon. And if you told me that in the midst of it, we would have a stock market that's almost as good as it was 2 months ago, just about, very close, and that we'd have oil, that we'd be selling oil, that oil would be at 92 or whatever it is right now, instead of 200, because a lot of people said, oh, it'll be 200. This is in the midst of everything. Now, I think we're doing very well, and maybe people assume we're going to win this thing pretty soon. We've beaten them militarily, totally. The only thing they have is the Gulf, and I think now, or the Strait, as they call it. And I think now, I don't know how they hold out.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the backdrop has changed. I know it's been only a month or so, but oil prices are up 50%. The stock market had a tough first quarter.
By the way, you're
now,
right.
Stocks are
you're
still
right,
up.
but they're not up. I mean, honestly,
You thought it was gonna be
I thought
worse.
there'd be much, and I was willing to do that, to stop a nuclear weapon to be used against this country or the Middle East, anybody in the Middle.
Are we going to watch the press briefing? Is there a press briefing today? Is it just Caroline Leavitt?
East. They were going to take out the Middle East. To stop that, it was certainly worthwhile, being much higher than it is right now. If you told me that we were going to be at only 92 a barrel, $92 a barrel, I would have been very surprised.
All right.
And
so
you know what? I'm very happy. And it's going to come dropping down very big as soon as it's over. And I think it can be over very soon.
So
if they're
overall-
smart, it will end soon.
overall, the impact on the economy, do you expect a hit to growth? Do you expect a spike in inflation?
Richard says, Jeremy, you allow Beardo to spout this wild shit. What wild shit would that be, Richard? You sound like a pussy, by the way, but what wild shit do I allow another human being to say? Please enlighten me on what that would be. So I'm supposed to just like tell people, you know, what they're supposed to have, what type of opinions. Beardo has retarded opinions. I can't control retarded people's opinions. So let's see. That Beardo's not gay. Oh, he is gay. We know that. I gotta have like, damn it, Richard. That I thought you were talking about something else. I thought you were talking about something else. Fuck, I was ready to fight, man. Yeah, the deer take is a wild one. Like, I have never in my life heard anyone describe a deer as a big dog. I have never heard that shit before. That's a wild one, dude.
There's a hit because, we go through it for whatever it is, 6 weeks. There's going to be a hit, but it's going to recover, I think, fully. Somehow they misquoted me. I think oil will be down to the levels it was. They said, I expect oil to be high at the midterms. I don't expect that. I think that we will be somewhere around where we were, maybe even lower. When this is over, I think the stock market is going to boom. It's already booming. Again, nobody thought we could be at 50,000 during my 4 terms on the Dow or 7,000 on the S&P. And we hit numbers that nobody thought possible.
You've been talking about a reconciliation program with the Republicans. Can you articulate to our audience why a reconciliation package is important and why you want to see it on your desk by June?
Because we can't get any Democrat votes. With reconciliation, we can get things passed. The good thing is the great big beautiful bill, that was 4 years wrapped into one. Now we're doing some additional things. But, the great big beautiful bill, I think it's the best piece of legislation. It should be called the great big beautiful tax cut bill, because you have no tax on tips. And look how that's working out. No tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. We have people, and you see it. I see it on your show. Watch your show. Your show's great. We have people that are making $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. They had no idea it was coming. And it's turning out to be even better than we anticipated for people.
But there are rules around reconciliation that it requires deficit reduction, right? How will you ensure that you've got a decrease in spending?
Well, we have to go by the rules, and we're going for those rules. And if we didn't go by the rules, we couldn't even put it in. We wouldn't be able to submit it. And nobody believes that more than me. The one thing I really
Nobody believes that more than me.
We built this great military that we have right now, and everybody acknowledges it, whether it's China or Russia.
From what I understand, no tax on tips applies to super chats. I actually was on the phone with somebody today getting clarification on this. I think it does apply to super chats. I'm pretty sure it does.
We have the greatest military in the world, and I built that in 4 years, my first term. It's a great, including adding Space Force. A lot of the things that you see that work so well is because of Space Force. It was a great thing that we added when we went for Space Force.
So what can you put in the reconciliation bill other than funding Customs and Border Patrol and ICE? Anything else?
Well, we're doing mostly that. This is mostly about that because the Democrats don't want to do it. Then we're putting some things as we go along. But, you've heard the expression, we want to keep it sort of slim because we want to make sure that I have the safest border in the history of our country. Nobody came in. I'm not even sure I can believe that. But the Democrats.
See, just to right here. So right here. No tax on tips. This is Trump War Room account. No tax on tips now applies to streamers and other content online creators, thanks to President Donald J. Trump. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Digital content creators are among the dozens of occupations that the Treasury Department has deemed eligible for no tax on tips per Axios. This list includes streamers, online video creators, social media influencers, and podcasters as examples. This is what I voted for, baby. Let's go.
Do the numbers. It's really, the agency that does that they tend to be on the Democrat side, to put it mildly. In the last 9 months, not one person came across the border illegally. Now compare that to 25 million people coming across by Sleepy Joe.
I was there. I went to the border 6 times. I saw it. I understand what you're saying.
They came in by the millions, hundreds of thousands a week, just pouring it, totally unchecked. And the countries, I know the leaders of most of these countries, they're very smart. They're street smart. Some are highly educated, but they're very street smart. They don't send their good people to us. When they do a caravan, 25, 30,000 people in a caravan, you don't have their good. You have people that, frankly, even if they're not criminals per se, they don't want to work, or they want welfare, they sent all these people to our country. What the Democrats have done to us should never be forgotten.
Can you put the Save America Act in the reconciliation
I'd love
plan?
to do it, and we'll certainly look at it. But I mean, there's nothing easy, and it has to be called Save America, as you just did. A lot of people like to go the Save Act. Nobody knows. It's Save America. It's voter ID. It's you have to be a citizen to vote.
Proof of citizenship.
Ideally, mail-in voting. You knock the hell out of it. You
Can we make it a budgetary item?
It's good for the military. You know, the military's away. They have to be able to use it, etc. Somebody that's sick, somebody that's away, you can't. And you do mail-in voting. But mail-in voting cut back so that it's fair.
It's tax day. What do you want to make sure people understand about the changes that you put in the tax code in the big, beautiful bill? And how significant are these refunds that people are getting?
Okay, well, the refunds are really significant, and it makes it less complicated.
I like how somebody came in the chat and said this is a 3-day-old clip, and then they just addressed that this is tax day. So,
To do your tax return, much less complicated. But the people, I mean, I think you're seeing this. You're reporting, everybody's reporting, because now it's gone into effect. And people are getting refunds of $5,000, $8,000, $11,000 that they had no idea they were getting. It's turned out to be better, as good or better than I said it would be.
Is that going to be enough to offset the increase in gasoline prices?
It will be, because gasoline's coming down very soon and very big.
So you think gas prices will be lower before the midterm elections?
I think they'll be much lower before midterm, much lower, yes.
Okay. Now, you've suggested...
I mean, that's on the assumption that we stop a country that cannot have a nuclear weapon from... If you give Iran a nuclear weapon, you want to see bad stock markets? You won't have a country. The world will be blown up. You can't do it. You cannot do it. So on the assumption we have...
I still like... Maybe Trump's plan is to get rid of the IRS before the midterms, because if he does that, then I'm being sarcastic when I say that, because if he in fact does that, but truly, if Trump gets rid of the IRS before the end of his term, he will be able to run for king. He will be king. So Trump just needs to get rid of the IRS and he can be king for the rest of his time on earth.
Have that settled, hopefully long before that, and maybe almost immediately. Could be very soon. But when that's settled, gas prices are going to go down tremendously, and gasoline, gas prices, cost per barrel, fill up your car, per gallon, any way you look at it, numbers are going to go down. Electricity is going to go down. You know, it fuels sort of everything, not just cars. It fuels the economy. If you get that down, one of the reasons I was so successful my first term is I was able to keep gasoline prices down. I was able to keep energy down. Now, look, if I decided not to go into Iran, which would have been a terrible thing, for 47 years, no president had the guts to do it, and they should have done it. And I know at least one, and I think all of them that are living, are sitting back watching this and say, we should have done it. This should have been done long before me. It would have been much easier to do. This should have been done long before me.
Mr. President, let me
what
ask
Obama did with that Iran nuclear deal, that was a worst.
I love how he just like forces his way. Maria's interviewed Trump enough to know that as soon as she tries to talk and he interrupts, she just needs to shut up.
A terrible thing. For 47 years, no president had the guts to do it, and they should have done it. And I know at least one, and I think all of them that are living, are sitting back watching this and say, we should have done it. This should have been done long before me. It would have been much easier to do. This should have been done long before me.
Mr. President, let me
what
ask
Obama did with that Iran nuclear deal, that was the worst deal ever made. That gave them a path to a nuclear weapon, a short-term path to a nuclear weapon. I terminated it. It was the greatest thing I did. They would have had a nuclear weapon 4 years ago. Then we hit them with the B-2 bombers 8 months ago. They would have had a nuclear weapon within 1 month, maybe 2 weeks. And they would have used it on Israel and the Middle East. And they would have used it on us too. And not just Israel, by the way, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, countries that were shocked when they got hit.
So we had a genius in the chat. Let's see. Hang on. Ask a question. So before I before I answer your question, because you're not asking this question in good faith, but I'm going to answer it in good faith because you need somebody to check your stupidity. Let me see if I can find this comment right here. I can't find it now. So somebody said, why didn't he go into Iran on his first term? I don't know. Why did Joe Biden give Iran $6 billion fucking dollars in the middle of Trump's 2 terms? Maybe that has something to do with it, you dumb fucking retard. I don't know. Maybe this $6 billion that Joe Biden, the most popular president in history, gave them had something to do with it, retard. Fucking idiot. Like, why don't you do the slightest bit of fucking research to find out before asking a stupid question? I bet you probably didn't even know that. Now you do. You're welcome. You're still a retard. Fucking people are so stupid. Like, why didn't he do this? I don't know, retard. Maybe do some research. But either way. Yeah, I think $6 billion might have something to do with it. Might. Jeremy's triggered. I am triggered. I can't stand retarded people. Like, you could tell it's not in good faith when people are asking that, because they're essentially trying to have a gotcha because they have TDS and they listen to retarded podcast bros and they don't do any research whatsoever. So, I mean, welcome to the internet. You know, I'll be your guide. But I mean, like, ultimately, you know, I voted for a person who is genuine, a person who is willing to help the sick, a person that goes by the name Dr. Trump.
Are you suffering from a serious life-threatening illness? Has your doctor told you you're probably going to die? My name is Dr. Donald Trump, and I have helped millions of patients with conditions just like yours. Cancer, heart disease, ALS, you name it. Conditions your doctor said were untreatable. I've seen them all, and I fixed them all. I use an advanced technique that the cheating medical establishment don't want you to know about. The results are...
cheating medical establishment.
Frankly, incredible. Nobody gets results like this. They're the greatest results.
They gave me 6 weeks to live, but then I called the hotline and was healed entirely through the phone.
I was clinically brain dead.
Clinically brain dead. I was clinically brain dead, but Dr. Trump healed me, babe. That's it right there.
Through the phone.
I was clinically brain dead, and my wife was about to pull the plug when the doctor saved my life.
If you or someone you love is suffering, don't wait. Don't let the corrupt medical establishment tell you what's possible. Call 1-900-NOT-JESUS today. Let's make your health great again.
Oh man. Now I've seen a lot of anti-Trump people running with this, and they were all thinking like, oh, we've got him now. And it's like, you realize a MAGA supporter made this, right? Like, just like this one, a MAGA supporter made this one.
I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better. I did.
Now, here's what's funny about this. So, like, okay, let's talk about being offended over something. People all day on social media after this image was posted of Trump were talking about how blasphemous it was and how horrible and terrible and, you know, just the worst thing we've ever seen. We can't believe this. Do you know what happened for the rest of the day? Not even the rest of the day. Do you know what's happened since this image People have been posting different versions of the meme. The same people that were telling you that they were so offended by this meme were then re-uploading the same image with different visuals, showing that they were never offended in the first place. Not even a little bit. All day we saw this meme being posted everywhere. People were posting versions of it with themselves in it. All types of versions. Well, but apparently it was just so offensive. It's so laughable to watch this all play out. And essentially this is how we have to treat those people.
Quiet. Quiet.
He's so disrespectful, and I fucking love it, dude. So disrespectful. Oh man, it's the best thing ever. Quiet. Simple as that. Oh, there's Lazy Shell right there. Give him a follow back. All right, so all right, let me get to some of these super chats real quick, and then we got more to talk about. Where you guys at right now? Fear the Deerdo. Dan, a deer is like a dog. Beardo said a lot of stupid shit. This one right here, Dan, a deer is like a big dog. No, it's not. Not even remotely close. Matt for 5 says, I'll watch Kino and you pretty much exclusively on YouTube. According will never get a view from me after this. How was your weekend, good Jer? I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it was good. It was a good, chill weekend. Played some video games and, opened some Pokemon cards. JRL410 says, Jeremy, video game music tournament. When you get to it, I can add songs to the tournament pool, so I can add G&G favorite game songs. Anyways, thanks for the show and have a blessed day. That would be good to add some of those as well. The best thing to do is hit me up on that on main event, on Tuesday night's main event, because I'd like to get the rest of the guys involved with it. And I know that like Dan and Beardo and Mike and the guys, Phil, everybody would like to add their songs to it. That would be really good. Salty Source Rex says, whoa, buddy, good Jer isn't into silencing people. Not even a little bit. Miniature Von says, imagine watching this play out and still claiming Trump had no plan. He's been preparing for this since 24 when we secured Panama, Venezuela, and used cartel boats as target practice for Iran speedboats. It is crazy to me that people keep running with that narrative that he has no plan. Again, you may not like the plan. That's fine if you don't like the plan. But to say that Trump doesn't know what he's doing is kind of crazy. But, I mean, TDS is a hell of a drug. So, I get it. Caroline Levette is live.
On Friday, President Trump will travel to Phoenix, Arizona to deliver remarks at a Turning Point USA event at Dream City Church. And I'm really honored to be standing here today on Tax Day with two esteemed members of the president's cabinet and his excellent economic team, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Small Business.
Vicky Quinn in the chat says, Jeremy is in the cult. Yeah. Were you confused about that? Like, were you questioning of course I'm in the cult? Like, of course I am.
In the eye and promised them he would sign the largest tax cuts in the history of our country. And on Independence Day last year, President Trump and congressional Republicans delivered, passing the largest tax cut in history for working and middle-class Americans, including no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security. They also passed unprecedented tax relief for small businesses, farmers, workers, and families. With Tax Day officially here, the numbers prove these tax cuts have been nothing short of extraordinary. More than 53 million filers claimed at least one of President Trump's signature new tax cuts. The average refund this filing season is more than $3,400. The Trump administration has issued more refunds and larger refunds than in any year of the history of our country. And I will allow Secretary Bessent to break down the numbers in greater detail. President Trump and Republicans in Congress have always believed that the American people.
Look, let's just call it what it is, though. Okay. And I appreciate the fact that there are huge tax breaks for Americans. It's 100% theft. Taxation is theft. Not to sound like a libertarian loser, but taxation is 100% theft.
If the Democrats in Congress had gotten their way and blocked President Trump's historic legislation, Americans would have faced the largest tax hike in history, nearly $4 trillion. The average taxpayer would have seen a 22% increase in their tax rates. Democrats in Congress have proven over and over again that they are the affordability frauds who believe the government should keep more of the American people's hard-earned money. This president and Republicans.
I mean, the thing is it is like they are basically manipulating people into making you believe that they're good guys for giving you back more of your money that they already stole from you. That's essentially what they're doing. They're like, hey, you know that money we're stealing from you? We're going to give you a little bit more of it back because we're the good guys. It's like, no, you're still pieces of shit.
Of the IRS, but most importantly, it's been a great tax season for the American people. Thanks to promises made, promises kept, through the working families tax cuts, the president has delivered the record refunds to the American people. More than 45% of the filers of the returns that we have seen have had at least one of the 4 president's signature policies: no tax and tips, no tax and overtime, the deductions for our great seniors, and the deductibility of interest on auto loans for American-made cars. And I will tell you that one of those that Americans have taken is no tax and overtime. And it's the American way. If you want to work longer hours, you get to keep more of your money. And with that, we are seeing. I want to encourage everyone out there watching today to change their withholding if they haven't already done so, because if you change your withholding, then you will get an automatic real wage increase on a weekly or a monthly basis, and you will be able to keep more of your money this calendar year. So with that, we have also.
I like this tweet right here from Greg. IRS, you owe us taxes. How much do I owe? IRS, you get to figure that out. Me, can I just pay what I want? IRS, no. We know exactly how much you owe, but you have to guess the number too. What if I guess wrong? Jail. Happy tax day. Perfect. Perfectly said.
With the Trump accounts, we have had 5 million families file for Trump accounts for their children. 1.2 million of those are eligible for the $1,000 seed bonus. So we look forward to that picking up more and more. For those of you who haven't done it, it's easy to remember, Form 4547. You can do it while you're filing your taxes. You can do it at any point during the year. We think this is going to be transformational in terms of financial literacy. This is Financial Literacy Month, and at Treasury and all over the administration, we are working with the American people, with American families, not only to give them more of their money, but to.
What happened?
I will turn it over to Kelly.
Didn't hear it for a minute.
Thank you, Scott, and good afternoon, everyone. Excited to be here on tax day, important day for small business, because small business and their.
Yeah, again, nobody's really excited for tax day, okay? Like, we're just not. And I appreciate what Trump's doing, but nobody's excited about this shit. Not one single person is excited. And I can't get excited because I got a few $1,000s more back. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that feels like it is completely emotional manipulation for them to tell you, like, you should be happy. We're going to give you a couple $1,000 more back of your money that we stole from you. I fucking hate it. So, anyway, I don't really want to hear a gay celebration of tax day. So we'll move on from that shit. Eradicator says, I know you don't like compliments, but you are my Cobra Rush. The only news I listen to. I do appreciate it. I get uncomfortable with compliments, but I also do appreciate it. I'm glad people tune into the show. I'm glad they like it. Let's see. Marmillan, this is my favorite one right here. No tax on super chats. And if you send the IRS the clip of Beardo trying to read or say deer are like big dogs, you'll get major breaks for hiring a mentally handicapped. And like, look at this right here, dude. Like, look at this shit. Somebody just up D.A. McLean just put, they're just like dogs. They're just like dogs. Why would he say that? They're just like dogs, guys. Beastie Man says no tax on tips tax. Richard says a deer tax. Heel Rev says no tax. Incoherent name. It says U.S. secures defense agreement with Indonesia to guard. Is it I don't know how to say that, Malacca Strait, which 80% of the Chinese oil flows through. With Greenland, all major waterways will be in control of the U.S. Navy, putting China in checkmate. I think like 50%. Isn't it like 30? Is it 30 or 50% or whatever of all of their energy goes through the Hormuz Strait, China? I mean, again, most people need to understand that this is little to do with Iran and more to do with China and more to do with repositioning the United States in a much better place economically into the future. That's what this has to do with. We live in a TikTok world where people just want an instant return. And I'm telling you, man, people's brains have been rewired so much by social media. Like, it's absolutely incredible. Hang on just a minute. Hang on. Oh my God. Fuck you, WhatsApp. Getting a phone call. Sorry, I had a family situation going on. All right. Little Jim Salo says, you see the Dems are trying to make the popular vote have more power over the electoral so they can dictate who voted into office. Fuck these evil shits. Agreed. Anyway, back to my point at hand. You know, you have people with their brains, I've talked about it a lot, but their brains have been rewired because of social media, because of TikTok, because of Amazon Prime, because of eBay, because of DoorDash, or whatever it is. All of it plays into it. All of it. Netflix, you know, YouTube, everybody's brains have been rewired. So now when we have a situation where President Trump is trying to restructure how the global economy works to benefit America, because the global economy primarily operates because of America, but America doesn't get the majority of the benefit like it should. So now President Trump is trying to reposition everything so that America gets the reward for being the global superpower that it is. People want to snap the fingers and like, well, just do it, Trump. And you're like, well, you can't just snap your fingers and do that. Like, this is a very, very, very complicated process that truly Trump might be the only person on earth that could have pulled this off. He might be the only guy. And that takes time. But people want an instant return on everything. They don't have time. They don't have patience to wait and just let things play out. So I don't know. We'll see. But I have faith that it will all work out. I have faith that it will all work out, but it's going to take time and it's going to be hell to get there. Taker says, Jeremy, tips to grifters are still taxed though. Gremlin for 20 Says, got to love that no tax on tips. Kathy Hochul just raised the taxes being taken out of the state level even higher to make up for it. Man, I'm so glad I left New York. Hail the 199. Hail to you. Yeah, I personally could not imagine under any circumstances living in a blue state. Now, I say that as somebody who is, blessed enough to be able to live where I want to live. And I feel for people that are still stuck in these blue states. But I couldn't do it, man. I don't even like visiting blue states at this point. Nullface for 20 says, what's up, my rain dogs? 199 snake pit, all caps, ducks, and MAGA hail IDOTs. Rain dogs. Can we make that a thing? What up, my rain dogs? I like that. That's actually good. What up, my rain dogs? That's pretty good right there. I'm digging that one. Ministry of Realm thing says, Jeremy keeps Beardo for the free parking spots. MAGA Mike says, Biden gave Iran $6 billion. Trump gave Iran 6 billion craters. Yep. Hunter says, I'm not saying that, but I'm a white man. Sue me. Yeah, I'm not going to say it, but I hear you. 8 o'clock says, Trump looks like he's Indian in that. And that one clip. Gandalf's Sweaty Balrog says, not Jesus tax. Bingle says, I have Down syndrome and I have a question for you. Why don't you come to the meetings anymore? We miss you. I have a problem with I have a friend that I have to take care of.
I'm retarded.
Grabthar's Hammer says, read about the importance of the is it Malacca Strait is for China's oil supply. Guess who just made a security agreement with Malaysia? Who controls it? No plan, eh? They say it. They say Trump has no plan. He's just a crazy person. Cole Howler says, we all know your theme song is the 1987 G.I. Joe opening theme intro. The greatest intro ever. Mexican Iron Man says, I'm excited to nail that blonde director, the Small Business Administration. What up, Mexican Iron Man? John freaking Murdoch says, hail Snake Pit, IDOTs, hail 199, happy Jessica. What's up, John freaking Murdoch? Hail to you, brother. Domo Bear says, no tax on tax. Fear the Deerdo says, tagged you in 2 Deerdo memes. Deerdo is that's never going away. It's never going away. MAGA Mike says, sadly, Ohio could flip blue. Nobody here likes Ramaswamy or the Republicans. And our 2 largest cities are major blue strongholds, not looking great. That's weird, man. So Vivek is, that's a guy that he's a classic case of, somebody that benefited from very, very, very low expectations because he made a name for himself, but he quickly exposed who he was at the same time. And I said all along the way with Vivek, I wanted to like him. I did, but I definitely got Obama vibes from him. He's sharp, he's well-spoken, and he's very entertaining from that perspective. But the H-1B thing really did show the world who he was. But he definitely had too many Obama vibes. And I learned my lesson from Obama. So now with him, I haven't looked at the polling in Ohio, so I don't really know what's going on there. I've heard he's not doing great, but he's not doing terrible. I guess he still has a chance at everything, but I haven't been keeping up with it as much as I should be. But yeah, he's kind of been irrelevant. So for a long time now, it's pretty shocking. Never trusted Vivek, but he was cool that he showed up on FNT. Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. When he showed up on FNT, I actually forgot about that, but that was cool. Packy Proton says, getting PG Park Place to mention the term GCL. Let's go. Good old GCLs. Okay, so we did have some updates. So as many of you know, Eric Fartwell was forced to resign. And now it's getting even worse for Fartwell because he's had several women have come forward. Now, I'm just going on the Democrat talking points that we are supposed to believe all women. I think that is retarded, but this is what Democrats want. They want us to believe all women. And Eric Swalwell, in particular, said that Donald Trump was a danger to women. That's what he said. Yet now we've had several women come forward and say that he's done terrible things. So right here, this is from 2025. Swalwell says, our job is to protect the most vulnerable. Let's listen to what he says right here.
Well, everyone wants to see the Epstein files, Nicole. Democrats want to see it because the reason we've always wanted to see the files. It's about the truth. It's not about politics.
You see, when Trump talks about the Epstein files being a hoax, all of these emotionally broken losers who go, it's not a hoax. I can't believe he said it. He said it because of pieces of shit like this were running with the narrative. But you're too stupid to realize that. This is why he meant it was a hoax, because of shit like this. But you pathetic, emotionally weak losers want to sit there and think that Trump is saying something he's not saying. This is what he was addressing right here.
It's about victims. And the truth is, many of these victims were teenage girls who had real wrongs done to them. And our job is to protect the most vulnerable. And actually, consistently over a decade, there's one group who has always known the danger of Donald Trump, and that's women. When it comes to women and Donald Trump, no one has been worse for them. That's why I believe he's in this free fall in the polls right now. This is about victims and protecting the most vulnerable in our community and knowing the names, not of the victims, but knowing the names of those who exploited them.
I wonder what, as Democrats, you think the opportunity is to maybe re-engage some voters on issues of credibility and truth-telling.
Yeah, and accountability, and showing that at the end of the day, we want the facts and we want accountability. And frankly, people just don't trust government. They don't like how much money is involved. They don't like the dirty maps that are drawn as congressional lines and local lines are put together. They don't like that members of Congress are allowed to trade stocks. And so we have a real opportunity, to have a cleanup government agenda as we go into the midterms. And what we can do in a shadow way right now over the next 16 months, because we are not helpless, is, as I said, is to receive information, to force votes, to bring forward and animate, the stories of individuals, who have been affected by.
This dude is known as a farter and a sexual harasser now. That's it. Woman accuses Swalwell of drugging her and whatting her while his wife was pregnant. Believe all women. Believe all women.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lana Drews. In 2018, while I was living and working as a model in Beverly Hills, and I also owned a fashion software company, I had contact with Eric Swalwell on 3 separate occasions after meeting him socially. He offered me connections to further my software company, and I also had an interest in local politics. He invited me to 2 public events.
I'm going to have to take a page out of Beardo's book. I don't believe her. I just don't believe her. But the Democrats say I have to believe all women.
I knew he was married at the time and that his wife was pregnant. He was my friend. On the third occasion, I believe he drugged my drink. I only had one glass of wine. We were supposed to go to a political event, and he said he needed to get paperwork from his hotel room. When I arrived at his hotel room, I was already incapacitated, and I couldn't move my arms or my body. He raped me, and he choked me. And while he was choking me, I lost consciousness. And I thought I died. I did not consent to any sexual activity. Although I did not undergo a rape kit at the time.
I mean, two things can be true. Swalwell can be a piece of shit, which I believe he 100% is. And this woman could be lying. Again, she could be telling the truth too. But I'm just not going to blindly believe something like this based on, a press conference. I'm not going to be emotionally manipulated into believing anyone just on accusations. I'm just not going to do it.
Disclose the assault to the people closest to me. I also recorded these events in my handwritten calendar. The assault and its impact were later documented during my therapy sessions at a sexual assault center in Connecticut. It had a profound impact on my mental health. I self-medicated in an unhealthy way.
I take this right here. I'm going to take a line from Batman Begins, okay? With Eric Swalwell. I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. So while I don't necessarily believe that this is true, I also ain't going to defend this piece of shit either. And whatever happens with you, happens with you. Because I don't care what happens to Eric Swalwell. I have no sympathy for this man whatsoever. So, and I think that's what the overall narrative will be, is that nobody actually cares what happens to you. Simple as that.
I did not want to live anymore. I cried all the time for years. At the time, I was in a dating relationship with a boyfriend I was fully committed to.
It's so bad because, Nanny, go girl, speak your truth. Speak your truth. And like, it's sad because this is what the Me Too movement has done. The Me Too movement, and now the Me Too 2.0 movement, which is Epstein, it's essentially made it almost impossible for anyone to take real victims seriously. That's the truth of the matter, because you've had so many phonies and so many frauds that have come forward to try to create narratives about this. But this is what people don't understand, man. This is what people don't get. It's like, whenever if you don't gatekeep whatever it is you have, and you let these posers and these phonies take over whatever your movement is, whatever it is, whether it's fandom, whether it's movement, whether it's political movement, whether it's an ideology, whatever it is, you let these phonies take over and they just drown out the genuine people. It's just what happens all the time. Simple as that. So you have real victims out there. You have real situations of horrible people out there that are abusing women. And make no mistake, eliminate all the social justice bullshit. Eliminate your feminist bullshit. Eliminate all of that. And let's talk about what a proper functioning society should be like. And a proper functioning society, men should be there to protect women in a normal society. We live in a society where a man can't even say yes, ma'am anymore. A man can't even hold a fucking door for a woman anymore without the woman potentially suing him. That's the world we live in. That's the world of social justice. We no longer live in a normal world anymore, unfortunately.
I've never cheated in my life, and I would never have engaged in a consensual sexual encounter with Eric Swalwell. That reality further underscores the non-consensual nature of what occurred. It was a politically unusual and intense time in Beverly Hills, and I was considering a run for city council, which placed me in proximity to political figures and events and added to the pressure to remain composed and silent. Eric was aware I owned a software company, and he spoke repeatedly about his ability to make introductions in Silicon Valley.
Look, I will say she plays the trauma victim very well. So either she's genuine, and again, not everybody is comfortable being in front of the cameras, in front of the press. She also knows, let's take a step back and eliminate any preconceived notions. This woman, her life is literally about to change, for better or for worse. Her life is going to change in this moment by getting in front of cameras and making these accusations. Her life will change. Now, is she being paid? That's very much a possibility. Is she acting? That's a possibility. Is she genuine? That's a possibility. Is she nervous because she's standing in front of cameras? All of these things are possible. There's just no way to know. But there's nothing wrong with questioning this. There's nothing wrong with, being skeptical, unfortunately. Nandy for 50 says, what do you mean we can't, let's see, what do you mean it can't take seriously? Remember the proud black woman in front of the Capitol Hill with the principled MTG Massey Kana exposing Epstein, even though she admitted on CNN to having a YouTube channel? No, maybe Cordery took her down. Yeah, at that moment in time, with these women at Capitol Hill, with the principled Massey and Marjorie Trader Brown, Ro Khanna, and Gloria Allred was there, right? Wasn't Gloria Allred there? So when you had these four clowns standing up there with these Epstein victims, and the Epstein victims said, maybe we'll make our own list of powerful men to take down. And at that point in time, I'm like, if anybody actually believes this shit, what are we doing? Then on top of that, to make it even worse, Melania Trump. This is what's crazy, okay? Holy shit, it just hit me. Melania Trump gave that press conference. She said Congress needs to allow the victims to speak. The victims rejected what Melania said, and the media stopped talking about Epstein. Holy fuck. I just realized that. Because the victims got mad when they went after Melania. They're like, how dare you bring us up? How dare you? And now, we're not talking about Epstein anymore. Holy fuck. That's crazy. That just hit me. Because yes, the Epstein victims were mad at Melania. They were furious at her. And now all of a sudden, they don't care about Epstein anymore. Holy shit. There you go, right there. Damn.
Referencing his political representation and influence there, I was not interested in him romantically, but I was interested in the business relationship and professional connections he offered.
So you're a whore. It's okay. Just admit it. I'm a whore for super chats. We're all a whore for something, okay? So just admit that you're a whore.
To provide. My delay in taking action against Eric was driven by fear, not doubt. Fear of his political power, his background as an attorney, and his family law enforcement ties. I have never doubted what happened. I stand with the other women who have come forward. And I will be making a report to law enforcement shortly with my attorneys.
I mean, there's like, there's a small piece of me that wants to feel bad for her, but I don't. But what a crazy scenario right there, man. So right here, here's another one. Eric Swalwell is in deep shit. Watch this. He's going to prison.
The fact that he has now dropped out of the governor's race and resigned from Congress, is that justice in your view?
No, it's just the beginning. It's just the very beginning. And I know personally that we're not walking away from this fight.
For me, justice won't be until he can't ever harm a woman ever again. And he has faced the consequences for the women that he has harmed.
I think in regards to the governor's race, he never should have ran for governor to begin with, knowing the kind of history and receipts that are out there. So that's a non-starter. And then in terms of Congress, I think he absolutely should have resigned. I think we just prevented another 30 to 40 years potentially of him harming people if he were to stay in Congress.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think we have served justice for his future victims.
Wow.
That won't exist anymore.
Well, let's hear what a certain young, vibrant man had to say in 2020 about Eric Swalwell.
You know who's on the committee? Swalwell, who likes the Chinese spy. Why aren't they investigating Swalwell? What a sleazebag. Why aren't they investigating him? For being with, I say being with. What is being with? I'll give you a definition afterwards. For being with a Chinese spy.
Trump right again. All right. Never fails. He's always right. Always right. And he never gets credit. They never give him credit. Poor guy never gets credit. That's okay, though. That's okay. We give him credit. And that's all that matters. But yeah, so there you have it right there. So this guy's the worst. He's had TDS forever. And now the world sees him for what he is, a legitimate piece of garbage. Thank you, Nandy, for those back-to-back 50s. I appreciate it. Cobra Commander, what's up for 10 says, the 1987 movie intro was off the chain, and I really want to see it redone in AI. However, did you like the Cobra Law BS? I wasn't a fan of the goofy lore, but still love the movie. Hail to you, Fig. Yes. Now, I 100% know that Cobra Law is a very divisive topic within G.I. Joe fandom. I love Cobra Law, but I do understand 100% why people don't like it. Some people anyway, a lot of people. But I'm a fan of Cobra Law. I know there were lore changes to Cobra Commander, backstory and everything like that, but I was a fan of Cobra Law. Now, maybe it's just because G.I. Joe, the movie, was very important to me in my childhood. So, but yeah, I was a fan, and I'm glad they brought it back in the more recent Cobra Commander run in the comic books too. But the 87 movie, I love it so much. And let's see. Gremlin says we are still waiting on them victims to release their own Epstein list. Whatever happened to that? It's amazing, right? It's amazing. We just never got that list released. Such a shocker. Packy Protons got that one. James says, forget Epstein. Release the Swalwell files. Taker says, turns out we needed the Swalwell files all along. Kevin Spears says, again, why do these women wait years to tell? They let him assault more women. It's all scripted to accuse when it's needed for politics. Sad, but true. Jake says, looks like Swalwell is a villain from Veronica Mars. The Mass Marvel says, believe all women, Jeremy. # time is up. Infinity Flare says, I've seen too many body cam videos. I hear only had one glass of wine. I hear only had one glass of wine and my BS meter goes to 11. Cobra Commander says, Nicole Wallace looks like an HOA Karen with a Skeletor plastic surgery inspiration and a wine box problem. Holy shit. You are correct. Where is that video? That is the most accurate description I have ever heard of Nicole Wallace. Is this it right here? Look at that. That is the most accurate description I have ever heard. Holy shit. Nicole Wallace looks like the HOA Karen with a Skeletor plastic surgery inspiration and a box wine problem. Oh, I could see her sitting around like walking the neighborhood and calling in security for people that are parked incorrectly or whatever. That's great. That is great. Aaron James says females that make false accusations should be put in jail. The accusation alone will destroy any person's life. Yeah, I agree with this. And I think this goes into like many different layers. Like, I want to live in a free and fair society. I think that just like women that make false accusations should be put in jail, people that false flag YouTube channels incorrectly should lose their channel when it's proven that they false flagged the YouTube channel. Yeah. Simple as that. Pippi says her voice is kind of annoying. Cobra Commander says, I think Swalwell should be kept from her harming other women ever again, the same way that it was done in Sin City. Jay Hamilton says Swalwell about to be farting a lot after Bubba gets done with him. Ann Jeanette says, I'm old school. Yes, ma'am. And open those doors. I am too. Look, I'm not, let me think about how to, word this. We were at an event a while back, and me and Tommy with Geeks and Gamers, we were talking to someone, and it was, professional setting. We're talking to someone. This someone clearly, to the naked eye, was a female. Okay. So we're talking to this person, and I keep saying, yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. And Tommy keeps nudging me. Every time I would say, ma'am, he would elbow me because we're standing right there. And I'm like, what the fuck is this motherfucker elbowing me for? I looked at the name tag. I can't remember specifically what the name was, but it was a male name on the name tag. And I'm like, fuck. I was like, oh, that's why. That's why you're nudging me the whole time. It was like, the name was like Todd or some shit like that. I don't know what the fuck the name was, And I was like, oh, damn, that's why. Like, that's just how I was raised, man. I just say yes, sir, no, ma'am, yes, ma'am. It's just what I do, we live in this world where you might be like offending people now. It's crazy. I hate this. I hate this social justice bullshit. James says Swalwell better be headed to Indonesia. It's over. Lying Dog Face Pony Soldier with a get the membership. Thank you. Lying Dog Face Pony Soldier with a 199 super sticker. Thank you as well. Ministry Wrong Thing on Rumble says Iran admitted to having nukes during ceasefire talks with JD. So all the lying grifters, cough, cough, Joe Kent, Tucker, Candace, need to shut the F up. Trump was right. They have nukes. They admitted it. But that's not enough for these people because they still want to pretend that there's something more going on, I guess. It's stupid. They talked about Swalwell here. Hang on.
I think the accusations and allegations against former Representative Swalwell are despicable and disgusting. I think it's also quite plausible, as you point out, Jack, that there were many other Democrats in this town on Capitol Hill who knew about his perhaps illegal behavior, certainly his disgusting and inappropriate behavior. And why were they silent for so long? I think those are questions that must be raised of these sitting representatives, including Mr. Gallego. And I hope that the journalists in this room will do their jobs, and the journalists on Capitol Hill will do their jobs to ask Democrats in power how they knew about such despicable behavior from one of their elected representatives for so long, but never said or did anything about it. So that's what we hope to see as far as the White House and the president is concerned.
Hell yeah. There we go. Now, over on True Social, President Trump posted this image right here. Hang on. So Trump posted this. The radical left lunatics might not like this, but I think it's quite nice. And so Trump posts this right. He's just having so much fun with these people at this point in time, man. He is having way too much fun, and I love it. Now, he also posts this right here. This is on Trump's True Social. He posts this image with no context whatsoever. Twice, when you see the guy who said you'll never be president at your inauguration. So yes, Trump is having a lot of fun. He just doesn't care. He does not give a damn. Now I saw a tweet from, oh wait, before we move on from the Swalwell stuff, we did have one more comment right here. Let me find it right here. Anna Paulina Luna says the individual who filmed the viral video of Eric Swalwell on the bed may have been a minor. Now, we talked about this the other day. So this dude might be in some real trouble.
I think both of these men need to get that on the books officially as soon as possible. And I look forward to assisting the FBI with information that I have regarding the investigation into former Representative Swalwell.
Can you expand on that, Congresswoman?
Look, there's been a lot of reports you've heard about people knowing information on the Hill, but there was some information brought to my office specifically. I did obtain forensics on that now infamous video in the hotel room. I am hearing that there is an investigative report coming out that he used his campaign funds to pay for that. There's also been allegations that potentially the person that filmed that video was potentially a minor. All of these things obviously coming to my office, but I am going to be handing over to the FBI because they are, to my understanding now, asking Mr. Swalwell to come in and talk to them.
Just for context for our viewers, she's referring to a video that CNN has not yet verified, that we're still working to verify, of Swalwell in a hotel room, allegedly with, as you noted, someone in the room whom he was kissing. And there have been various allegations on social media about what we.
So we all know that Luna is, gorgeous. Okay. So I'm not throwing any shade at her when I say this. All right. But who do you think's wearing more makeup in this situation? And I think the guy is wearing more makeup. I think the man is wearing like substantially more makeup than her, which is crazy.
Happening there, CNN, again, is not yet verified those. I wonder, Congresswoman, if you could share whether you heard from Speaker Johnson about all of this and how much support was coming behind the scenes from leadership for these expulsion efforts.
Look, I actually talked to the speaker this morning. He's very supportive of what's transpired because obviously he does not agree that the House of Representatives should engage in cover-ups, but also to this type of corruption. And so I think that he said that this played out in the best way possible. But I also want to point out the fact, though, that, these allegations bubbled up. People knew about it and they didn't say anything. And it wasn't really until, me and Teresa basically said, we're not going to tolerate this anymore and really pushed it. And what I will also say is I think that this gets into a bigger issue here. Both Swalwell and Gonzalez voted to refer the release of the Congressional Slush Fund, which is responsible for the payouts from victims of sexual assault or sexual harassment in the House of Representatives. They voted to refer it to ethics. And so the fact is that motion was put forward by Representative Mace. I personally voted for its release. But when you have members being protected by the institution using taxpayer dollars for it, I think everyone in the country should agree that all of that should be released to the American people. And that's not what our taxpayer dollars should be going towards. So I actually think that there's probably going to be a few more expulsions here. I don't want to serve with these people. I don't think that my Democrat colleagues want to serve with these people. And I look forward to draining the congressional swamp.
So there you have it. The Swalwell is in some serious trouble, and it couldn't happen to a worse guy. So I am 100% okay with that. It makes me very happy. And we will continue to see how this all plays out. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Another TDS loser going down in flames for all of the bullshit, all the lies, all of the manipulation. Salty Source Rex says, F Badger for stealing Ralph Amel's wedding spotlight. Roll of the Wretch says, Gary cost me 40 IQ points and 3 hours on Sunday. Worse yet, on Monday Night Meltdown, the chat thinks I'm an alien and it says I'm running a misinformation campaign. Thank God you don't believe that. Of course I believe it. You absolutely are an alien. Yes. And how did he cost you 40 IQ points and 3 hours on Sunday? How did he do that? Now, I will say this. Like, Gary's opinion on Interstellar hurt my brain. He did. And I'm sure we'll discuss that on Friday Night Tights. But yeah, he fundamentally misunderstands the end of Interstellar in a painful way. But at least AJ from the Y Files said, Interstellar is greatness, because it is greatness. But I know he was rewatching it. But what did he do to you, Roland? I gotta know. Cobra Commander becomes a new member. Thank you, Cobra Commander. Zero says, whoa, buddy. Nobody can do that as good as PPP, though. So, let's see. Let me see. Interstellar's a joke. Matthew McConaughey is a genius. You lost me already. I don't think he's a genius in the movie. I don't think you've watched the movie if you think that he's a genius. He is an engineer, but he's not a genius. He's kind of a cowboy in a lot of ways. So, but yeah, he's not like, so I saw somebody in the chat. They were like, oh, I can't believe McConaughey is a scientist. It's like, no, he's not. He's not a scientist in the fucking movie. Like, what are you guys talking about? What movie are you fucking watching? So, like I don't understand how people can't just take basic information from a movie. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, Gary literally said that they created the black hole in the movie. That is fundamentally not true. That is just not true. There's no creation of a black hole. That's a naturally occurring phenomenon. In the movie, they created the wormholes. The black hole was not created by the higher dimension beings. But Gary was like, they created a black hole in the movie. I can't take it seriously. I was like, no, they fucking didn't, Gary. What movie did you watch? They literally did not create the black hole. They created the wormholes. I don't understand what it is about Interstellar, and people just can't understand this movie. It's so kind of like, it's a little complicated, but it's not that complicated. Who created the Tesseract? The higher dimension future humans. That's exactly it. So when you're in a higher dimension, it's like this. Let me explain it to you like this. Let me break it down for somebody, okay? We can't conceptualize how a higher dimension being or a future human could create a Tesseract. Fair, okay? Go back, hundreds and hundreds of years, thousands of years, whatever. Go back and try to tell these people about a fucking smartphone. They won't even be able to understand the idea of a smartphone. They would be able, like, if you go way back in time, hundreds and thousands of years, and explain to people the technology of today, They may think that God himself is speaking when the phone rings, because none of it will make sense to them. That's essentially what is going on within Interstellar. Is you have future humans in a higher dimension operating with things that we as normal humans cannot understand, because it's so far beyond our understanding. But it's not outside of the realm of possibility, and it is scientifically, in theory, it's possible. That's what we're operating with. This is not that complicated. It's really not. So, and when you're operating in a fifth dimension, it's like this. When you're looking at time, time is always happening. So in the movie, based on the movie, the higher dimension beings are looking at time as it was always happening. They can't find a specific place in time. That's why they need to use Cooper and his emotional connection to his daughter. The Tesseract is not a love Tesseract, as Gary said. The Tesseract was specifically used for the emotional connection that Cooper has with his daughter, so Cooper can find the specific place in time that the fifth dimension beings can't find, because they don't have access to that. This is not fucking complicated. It's real. Just watch the fucking movie. This is not complicated. This is very, very simple if you listen to the movie. Very simple. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. But people try to overthink it. The higher dimension beings are Trumpelins. They absolutely are. Well, to be fair, and this is probably a spoiler, and I hate to spoil the movie for people that haven't seen it. But if you read The Science of Interstellar from Kip Thorne, Donald Trump is actually the higher dimension being in the movie. Now, I know many people may not believe that, but Donald Trump is the higher dimension being. He actually sees time as a physical kind of like thing where he can just, overlook time, and he can just kind of do whatever he wants. So he's the highest being. Yeah. So Donald Trump is the highest being in the galaxy. So, Roland Retcher says the black hole is between Gary's ears. Listening to that shit for 3 hours cost me 40 IQ points. Aliens don't exist. Physics prove it. So I personally don't believe aliens exist either, but I really, 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 really want to. But I don't believe in them. I want them to be real. Let's do an Interstellar breakdown stream. Let's fucking go. It's about time, man, because somebody's got to do this shit. Magnum Norris says black holes were where the wormholes lead to. Therefore, the Sydney Sweeney is the ultimate goal. Fuck yeah. Now explain Tenet, Nolan boy. Okay, so again, a lot of people get this confused too. So let me break it down for you. Tenet makes no fucking sense. You're welcome. All right. I can't explain Tenet. I'm sorry. I can explain Interstellar. I can explain other movies. I cannot explain Tenet. I don't know what the fuck is going on in that movie. So I cannot figure that shit out. So that one, checkmate to the Nolan haters, because that movie, it breaks my brain to figure that one out. So yeah, we'll leave that at there. The only thing I remember about Tenet is that they fall backwards. It's Inception is a masterpiece. Of course, it's a masterpiece. Inception's amazing. Dark Knight, The Prestige, Interstellar, Oppenheimer. I mean, there's you can name 5 or 6 masterpieces from Nolan. I mean, that's how good he is. He's had Tenet, I think, is a step back. I think Dark Knight Rises is his most flawed film. I think Dark Knight Rises is his worst made movie. Memento is another one that's a masterpiece. So yeah, he's the GOAT. And soon the Odyssey. We'll see what happens with the Odyssey. We'll see. I'm not convinced. I don't know what to think of the Odyssey. So Dunkirk is good. Wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but it's very good. I enjoyed it. We did have Dave Chappelle commenting on President Trump. This is kind of an interesting dynamic because Dave Chappelle, a lot of people were very complimentary of Chappelle years ago, but I think Dave Chappelle kind of told you who he was with the George Floyd stuff, in my opinion. I like Chappelle's comedy, always have, but he was asked about President Trump. Here's what he said about President Trump right here.
People think the president's funny. I mean, I've had people say this to me, like I've interviewed people to say, well, what do you like about him? They say, he's funny. Do you think he's funny?
Maybe if he wasn't president, I think that was funny. Or maybe at times, I mean, I do think, you know, that's wearing thin. There are funny things about him. Like if I were to talk about him, I could, it would be funny. But I think what he does is so consequential. And so much of these things, you know, in my lifetime, I've never really seen anything, a phenomenon quite like him. I'm not trying to be political, but it's remarkable. I don't know. I don't know how funny it is.
People think
it's very funny. Trump is objectively a funny person. Trump is actually even funnier than Chappelle, and he's not trying to be. And that's the truth of it. He really is. Like, Trump is fucking hilarious, actually. And I like Chappelle. I got nothing against Chappelle. I know that, you know, Chappelle has his own beliefs or whatever. Don't really care about that. Like, for instance, he played the race card right here.
U.S. intelligence did make it clear that they believe that the Saudis killed Jamal Khashoggi in the embassy in Turkey. And you knew that when you went, right?
Oh, absolutely. Now,
You
I should tell you.
You had no qualms?
I won't say that. They asked me to go years before that. And I said no for that very reason. Since that time, the United States government does business with the Saudis. Netflix does business with the Saudis. Everyone, the Saudis finance tons of movies. All these, I know, I see them financing boxing matches and all these things. And none of these things were an issue until I went there. And why is that? As soon as a black man.
There it is right there. As soon as a black man gets involved, pulled the race card.
And why is that? As soon as a black man can make money off the plantation, they try to tell you that the money is dirty. Well, okay, I'll go home and spend the money with actual slave owners on it. Where is this clean money you're talking
But you said you hesitated for years to go, the years you didn't go. So what made the difference for you?
Time and circumstance, time and the wheels of commerce kept turning. You know, if you want to be that pure about money, then stop driving your car, stop eating, don't use your cell phone. Everything is tethered to something that's just terrible. And I can make a million excuses or reasons to deprive that crowd of that show. But man, when I was standing in front of them, I feel like I did the right thing.
U.S. intelligence.
So there you go, Dave Chappelle, letting us know he's a black man. Thank you, Dave. I was not aware of that until you told us. So I really do appreciate you giving us that information. Would have never known if you would not have told us that. Like you and Stephen A. Like every time I watch Stephen A., I'm sitting there going, is this guy a black man? Is this guy a black man? And then he's like, as a black man, I'm like, woof, I wasn't sure. So there you have it. So he did confirm that he is in fact a black man. Now he also had this to say, if I could find the clip of it. I guess I can't find the actual clip, but he says, Dave Chappelle says he resents how the Republican Party ran on transgender jokes. I felt like they were doing a weaponized version of what I was doing. That's not what I was doing. I was on Capitol Hill, and everybody ran up to take pictures with me from every congressional office and just take pictures with whoever asked. At first, it was the CBC. Then here comes Lauren Boebert, and she said, can I get a picture? And I had already taken 40 pictures. I didn't want to say no in front of everybody, but I didn't know the phrase. I respectfully declined. So I just took the picture. And then she posted the picture and says something to the effect of just two people that know that there is just two genders, just instantly like weaponized or politicized. So I got to that arena and I lit her ass up for doing that. And she should never do that to a person like me. Shut the fuck up, Dave Chappelle. Like what a fucking loser. Pathetic. I thought that there was a clip of this though. Let me see. Oh, here it is, right here. Here it is.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
This is before I learned the phrase "I respectfully decline," and I was on Capitol Hill, and everybody ran up to take pictures with me from every congressional office, and I just take pictures with whoever asked. I didn't ask how they voted, what their voting record is, and everyone at first was like CBC people, and then here comes Lauren Boebert. And she said, "Can I get a picture?" And I'd already taken 40 pictures. I didn't want to say no in front of everybody. But I didn't know the phrase, "I respectfully decline." So I just took the picture. And then she posted a picture before I could even get from there to the show and says something to the effect of just two people that knew that it's just two genders. She instantly like weaponized it or politicized it. So I got to the arena and I lit her ass up for doing that. And she should never do that, a person like me.
Now she knows what's up.
Yeah. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
This is before I learned.
It's such a pussy, dude. Like such an absolute pussy. You know, like people like this they're taken way too seriously, unfortunately. And I guess I'm part of that because I've covered Dave Chappelle in the past too. But you know, we keep saying like how all of this stuff is, you know, the wokeness is gone and all of that, but it's really not. Cancel culture is gone, and it's really not. Like right here. So you've got guy, whatever his name is, Ferrari, whatever. He basically had to put out a I'm not affiliated with Geeks and Gamers statement about the Tate brothers because he met the Tate brothers and he said he's devastated by the backlash after he shook Andrew Tate's hand at the UFC. Says he's never heard of him. I'm seeing all of your comments about the photo from Saturday's UFC event, and all I can say is I'm devastated. I was there to see fights, and when I was walking through the venue, the Tate brothers stood up and said hello, and that's when the exchange happened. I did not know them or about them before that moment. Oh my God, I'm devastated. Like, are you kidding me, dude? So yeah. So he has to apologize for shaking someone's hand in public. Like, I don't care what you think of Andrew Tate. I'm not even the biggest fan of Andrew Tate or anything like that. I don't care. But like apologizing for shaking the man's hand in a public situation? What are we doing, dude? Like what? How pathetic is this? So again, wokeness is still on the menu. Cancel culture is still on the menu, sadly enough. Aaron James says, can you explain Cool Runnings for us? Graham Robbins says, Jeremy should have a festival in the California desert called Interstellar, where influencers can spend thousands to watch and learn about Interstellar. Let's fucking go. I like that. Magnum Norris says, Chris Nolan was smoking chronic when he made Tenet. Gator says, Interstellar drew inspiration from Contact. Yeah, I mean, I think it drew inspiration from a lot of movies. Contact, 2001. I mean, Nolan probably has admitted that on camera. Magnum Norris says, my black fatigue has reached the point, except for Cole Hauser. He's cool. He is cool. We like Cole Hauser. He's good peeps. Miniature Realm thinks says, to be frank, Tenet could be a masterpiece. We just don't know. I mean, I do need to give it another shot, but I mean, I've seen it multiple times and it just doesn't click with me. I don't hate it. It's just a lot. Let's see. In UFC, it says Tenet starts to make sense when you realize Neil is adult max. Also, understand that the square where terms are used, it is that square where Neil is in the middle. I've got to watch it again. It's been I haven't watched it in years. So Magnum Norris says Tenet sucks ass. Packy Proton says super chat callback. Breaking news. Just saw a chat from Trans Girly and she didn't pull out from the event. So when you learn that a woman is unavailable, is it cringe or sad to ask if she has any single twin sisters? It's cringe, but I will go ahead and tell you to do it just for the hell of it. Net Steeler says, I like that you don't like the people I don't like. I agree. Whatever that means, but I do agree. Waffle Master says, what do you mean aliens don't exist? Then who the F mowed my lawn? Cole Halter says, I'm black? Yeah, that was a pretty tough accusation that Magnum Norris just made there, man. I don't know. That's pretty rough. Again, I want to tell everyone really quickly that I do appreciate the support over on Rumble Wallet. You guys continue to support us over there. I have not set anything up with my D-Day Cobra yet, but you can support directly through the Geeks and Gamers Rumble Wallet if you want. I get a bigger cut of that, and nobody can touch it, and no Rumble fees are included, which is the best part of it. And you guys have been supporting a lot over there, so I do appreciate you supporting through that. And as soon as I get the D-Day Cobra one set up, I'll let you know. But I don't have that set up yet. But again, supporting through Geeks and Gamers Rumble Wallet is the same as supporting through D-Day Cobra because it's all tied into Geeks and Gamers. So that's all that matters. And there's the link right there. Jessica just dropped it. Thank you so much. And Zwanny did drop this $200 super chat. And I have to consider what I'm going to do about Marc-Andre Roy. I'm still not sure what I'm supposed to do here. He's a Beardo fan. Swanee, like, this is a tough situation you're putting me in here. It's a tough situation. I'm going to have to put some thought into this. Like, I haven't even seen him comment a whole lot. You know? Like, I haven't even, yeah, okay, he's there now, but that's like the first time he's commented in 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Beardo has fans? Yeah, I know, man. So, I don't know. I guess we'll have to decide by the later stream tonight. So, must announce Deerdo. Yeah, Mark. Are deers just big dogs? Like, are deers big dogs? That's you have to answer that question. Are deers big dogs? What is this show? Why would anybody watch this shit? Like, imagine tuning into the show and seeing that someone donated $200 and I'm like, are deers big dogs? Can't defend him on that one. Oh, crap. Stormbreaker says, Jeremy as a brown man. I support Trump. Let's go. Cole Hauser says, I can vouch for Marc-Andre Roy. Oh, we got a black person doing it now. At least that's what Magnum Norris said, okay? That's what Magnum Norris said. I ain't black. I'm cappuccino, says Magnum Norris. Ladybug says Mod Mark. What the hell is going on around here, man? Mark. Mark. The next time you comment, you'll see. The next time you comment. All right? I don't want to hear anything else out of you anymore. All right? Nothing else, Mark. All right? And you'll see it here in just a minute. Cam says, grift it for another few days. I already did it though, unfortunately. Damn it. There it is. All right. Zwanny wins again. She runs the show around here. Freezy Cat says, the quartering is a cuck and he's willing to shut others down for talking about it. False flagging channels, man. It's a big mistake, and it's not a winning strategy. So, poll regarding Mark. Too late. I've already done it. Damn it. So, you're welcome, Marc-Andre Roy, says Cole Hauser. All right, we're going to call it there. I'll be honest with you, Mark. I just needed to stretch this out to 2 hours, and so I just used you to get it to 2 hours. So, now we're at the 2 hour mark. I will be doing another stream tonight, and I'm considering doing a gaming stream as well, okay? So another CobraCast tonight. And then I'm considering doing another gaming stream. If Jay is available, we'll see. All right. So subscribe to D-Day Cobra Gaming. I appreciate all the support. You guys are the best chat in the history of the internet. Thank you. Have a good evening. And we'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone. Oh, that's right. We do have the gaming stream tonight on Geeks and Gamers Play as well. There's so much shit going on. So we do have Geeks and Gamers Play tonight as well with their gaming stream. So keep that in mind. Packy Proton says, I don't want a mod. I want money or a date, but the lady mods are unavailable. This is so fucking pathetic. And I appreciate that you keep trying. Thank you, Packy Protons. All right, guys. Talk to you later.